If you think the government is hiding technology, you're wrong. They aren't hiding technology. They're hiding a debt. And in 1982, they used my family to pay it. We lived outside Socorro, New Mexico, just miles from the proving grounds where they used to test the things that didn't belong to us. My father was a truck driver, a man of iron and silence, and my mother ran the diner on Highway 60. It was a simple, American, and quiet life. We were a tier, one family, according to the papers I found later. But in 1982, being tier one didn't mean you were special, it meant you were available. I remember the heat of that October night. It was the kind of dry, desert heat that makes the air feel like it's made of glass. At 11:14 p.m., the diner's neon sign didn't just flicker, it died. Every radio station on the dial turned to a rhythmic, wet thumping sound. Then the sky changed. It didn't just turn dark, it turned the color of a bruised lung. A deep, pulsing violet that made the desert floor glow like it was radioactive. The coyotes didn't howl, they went silent. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. I stood on the porch and watched the horizon. A triangular craft, larger than a football field and blacker than the void between stars, drifted over our farmhouse. It didn't make a sound. No engines, no wind, no displaced air. Just a low-frequency vibration in my marrow that made my teeth ache and my vision blur. I watched from the cellar door as my father walked out into the yard. He wasn't running. He wasn't grabbing his shotgun. He was walking with a vacant, rhythmic stride, his eyes wide and reflecting that horrible purple light. He stopped in the middle of the dust-choked yard and looked up. He started to hum. It was the same sound from the radio, wet, rhythmic, and alien. He wasn't scared. He was sinking. I tried to scream for him, but the air felt like it had turned to liquid in my lungs. I saw the collectors glide out from the edges of the violet glow. They didn't have feet. They didn't have faces. They moved like shadows that had learned how to stand up. They weren't looking for minerals or government secrets. They were looking for biological anchors. One of them touched my father's shoulder, and I saw his skin begin to shimmer. He wasn't burning. He was dissolving into tiny blue particles that drifted upward toward the craft like reverse rain. He looked at me one last time, and his eyes weren't human anymore. They were filled with that same jagged blue light. He was being harvested. By the time the unmarked black vans arrived at dawn, the house was empty. My mother was gone from the kitchen, the coffee still steaming on the counter. The purple light was gone, replaced by a cold gray New Mexico sunrise. The men who stepped out of those vans didn't wear uniforms. They wore suits that cost more than our farm was worth. They didn't ask me what happened. They didn't ask if I was okay. They took me into the back of a van and showed me a series of lights. They asked me how much I remembered. They told me there had been a chemical leak at the proving grounds. They gave me a check and a new name, but they couldn't take the vibration out of my bones. I've spent 40 years moving from town to town, always staying within the borders of the high CPM states, always watching for the sky to bruise again. I found the redacted files in an old military dump near Truth or Consequences. We weren't citizens to them. We were collateral. The blue light harvest happens every 20 years when the debt comes due. And by my math, the next cycle is starting now. If you live near a military base, if your electronics start to thump with a rhythmic pulse, or if you see a light that feels like it's reaching into your mind, don't look at it. Stay in the cellar. Don't let them sink with you. I'm the only one left who knows the debt is still outstanding, and they are coming to collect. File 02 is closed, for now. If you've seen the blue light, you're already on the list. Subscribe to Fringe-Files-Animated to stay off their radar, and help us document the truth before the archive is wiped. We are the only ones left watching the border.